Hello plant people, how are you guys doing today? If you're new around here, my name is Ashley and I'm a soil scientist. On this channel, I like to take that science and apply it to all things plants. In today's video, we are doing fish planted tomatoes. So this is something that's been on the internet for years now. People literally take fish carcasses and then plant them beneath the root system on a tomato. Now, I'm not recommending this to anyone, but I usually get comments on some videos, don't knock it till you try it, with various different theories and products. So I thought I would put to test doing a handful of tomatoes and seeing how they produce. One of the common experiment results is that it produces tomatoes later into the year. However, the tomatoes that are produced don't come till later in the year. And I think that's because it's causing shock. So those roots are getting put into a really moist environment, which can be anaerobic. We're also anaerobically decomposing these fish because of how far we have to actually dig them into the soil. For those of you who do not know, microbial activity only usually takes place in the first 2 inches or so of soil. It needs air. So as your soil compacts more, the lower we get in the actual soil profile, the less microbial activity that takes place. So we start relying on anaerobic microbes. So I'm assuming that's what's happening there, which ultimately is causing a form of transplant shock, which can then set the plant back and ultimately make the harvest be pushed back as well. So in a cold climate, probably less than ideal. However, if you are in a warmer climate, maybe transplanting when it's already getting too hot out, there could be some benefit. So I'm going to show you how I am going to do this, because there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. I would suggest putting the actual fish carcass below the root system by quite a bit, and then filling that in with soil and then planting the transplant on top of that, rather than putting it or wrapping it around that root ball, because I do think that that will cause issues. Now, keep in mind that there's a whole host of information out there as to why this is done. I was looking up specific nutrient profiles and why people theoretically said they did it, and they really don't focus much on the NPK values or the micronutrients of putting the fish in there. Their main argument is vitamins and omegas. Well, plants don't take up vitamins or omegas, so it's kind of a null and void factor there. But it's going to produce or provide NPK and micronutrients over time once it does decompose. So I'm leaning to this being more an investment for this area in future seasons. Once everything's decomposed in a cooler soil, it's going to take longer. In a warmer soil, it'll happen faster. This is raised beds in direct sunlight. It's early morning right now, so the sun hasn't quite hit it, but once it does, these warm up pretty dang hot. So I'm expecting decomposition to be relatively quick. And my soil here is not compacted by any means. When I weed, I usually pull in the whole root and everything comes out. So let's get these guys planted and I will show you exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so here is my tomato. These are just beefsteak tomatoes here, and I'm going to plant them at the back of the bed. The reason for this is I do not trust my dogs. If they can smell it through the wood on the front, I'm a little bit concerned that they'll be interested in digging up the garden. So to avoid that, we're gonna place them back here. Now, what I'm first gonna do is obviously dig my hole. If you watch the video on soil temperature and depth, you do wanna keep that in mind. Now, I did take my soil temp probe and place it in here not too long ago. It's around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the okay time to transplant, but depth will be of concern. However, because it gets colder the deeper you go. So deeper in the soil is not 60 degrees Fahrenheit, it's actually a little bit cooler. My concern is as the summer goes on, that it may not reach that level. So what I need to do is actually dig the hole. Unfortunately, because I'm doing the fish method, I have to dig deeper than I would like to, but and then besides. So if you guys did not know, I have, or if you're new to the channel, this bed here is my organic bed. I also have a conventional tomato bed, and I'm planting tomatoes in it every single year. Now, I'm not rotating, that is correct. And the reason for that is because Eileen Ingham has a theory that if you plant the same crop in the same spot year after year, you can increase the microbes specific to that plant over time, which will be beneficial. Now, the opposite side of that argument is going to be that If you plant the same plants in the same spot year after year, you can increase harmful microbes and compound them, which can cause disease. Now, I haven't seen any of those yet, either or happen. So I can't say which one is currently taking place in this garden or in either garden, but over the years, hopefully we'll find out. Now, this bed that we're going in right now is the organic one, obviously, because we're putting the fish into it. The other one is my conventional, so just keep that in mind. Now, when I go to plant this guy, I'm going to take off all my suckers, which are these kind of stem leaf things in the middle here, in between the two these. And then because I am going deeper, I'm just going to take off these bottom true leaves. I'm going to take off this one because it's going to be too close to soil and it may cause disease or issue. And I'm going to plant to that first true leaf depth. Okay, let's get a stinky head in here. I am that deep in the actual hole. So what is that, 1.5-ish? Okay, let's. I'm not looking forward to this. We filled these last night and just get it over with. So the fish being used is a northern pike. Yummy. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of soil back into place and I'm gonna give it a little pat. So now I'm about 6 inches off the bottom. Take this out, give a little squishy squoosh, and put this in. So basically my root ball is level, which is good. And then I will cover it in. And to reduce any air spaces in there, I just give a firm push and we're good to go. So we're done. So there you have it, the fish planted tomato. Fingers crossed this doesn't kill my tomatoes. I'm expecting a delay in produce because of shock, not for a good reason, and obviously a later harvest. So I need to keep that in mind and make sure you guys remind me to actually update and document this properly, because theoretically, if my fruits on my other plants end up coming sooner, that's better because that's more engineered towards my climate, meaning I'm more likely to beat the first frost of the year. If I get a delayed harvest of tomatoes, it's not necessarily a good thing in a cold climate, but maybe in a warmer climate where we can grow tomatoes for longer, we'll have a longer supply, right? So that is kind of the cost benefit there. Another thing to keep in mind is I can a lot of these tomatoes, this isn't much for fresh eating, this is more for preserving. So I do like everything to kind of be ready at the same time because it makes my job a lot easier. Otherwise, I have to freeze and do, other preserving methods so I can stockpile everything before I can. So just something to keep in mind there. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.